Welcome. Welcome to the Law, Your Money, and You. I'm Roberta Sapphire, an attorney in Sharon, Massachusetts.
And I'm Camille Barron, a healthcare advisor and financial coordinator also in Sharon, Massachusetts. And Roberta, we've said this many, many times when we've been on the show, that we are not just confined to having guests from Massachusetts. As a matter of fact, we've had guests from many places in the country because our show airs all over the world. Right. So today we're very fortunate to have the guests we have today.
Yes, and I want to take the pleasure of introducing them. They were on the July, and they were known then as the husband and wife law team, and they still are, except now it's the great husband and wife law team, my daughter and my son-in-law. Do I sound prejudiced? I am. Alexis Breyer and Mark Breyer. Welcome. Whoever wants to go first, let's have Mark go first.
Okay, I will go first by saying I get to be here with maybe the greatest negotiator in the history of law, your daughter, Alexis Breyer.
And what do you say about that, Alexis?
I agree.
Breyer?
I used my great negotiation skills to get him to marry me. So.
Well, that's good. Well, 9 years ago, you were, I can't say just starting out because you've been practicing now over 20 years. And
almost 25.
Really? Boy,
yeah.
You feel old. But back then, well, you still do. You have 8 children. How have your practice changed with the 8 children being younger and the 8 children grown up?
Mark?
I would say that the older they get, the more that they don't need as much constant attention. And as the kids have grown, the practice has grown. So we've been able to, we is a strong word. It's the wrong pronoun. I have always been able to do what I'm able to do because this woman I married has 8 kids, raises 8 kids, is super involved in the lives of all 8 of her kids from the time they were young to now they're ranging in age from 23 down to 9, while also being a more than full-time lawyer, running her own practice. And I just skate along and everyone always goes, how do you guys do it? And depending on whether I want to tell them the truth, it's because, you know, if one person does the work of 6, then it's just, you know, you can get a lot done. And by the way, as a quick aside, rumor is that her mother was similar in terms of her ability to do more than any one person should be able to do.
And
so
she still is. She still is.
Is that right? So anyway, it's funny. Back then, there were only 2 lawyers in the practice. It was the 2 of us.
How many do you have now?
I think 12. I think 12.
Well,
is that right, Alexis?
Are you including us?
If you include us, I think there's 12.
Yeah.
But you have a staff of much more than 12.
I think we're almost 60 people on the whole team now.
And how are the courts handling the coronavirus situation? Are you doing things the same, or how do you do things? What's going on there?
Well, I'll take the lead on that one because I'm the one who gets the fun of addressing it more. So the courts here are working very, very hard, but they're struggling. So many of the deadlines that impacted people in the courts were stopped here. But unlike in some states, Arizona did not stop the most important deadline, which is the statute of limitations. So for a period of time, people who were waiting to get their lawyer near the end or waiting to file their lawsuit near the end, if they didn't get around to filing because when everything was really, really shut down, they lost their case. Many states told the statute during lockdown. Arizona did not.
Massachusetts did.
Yeah, many. And you know, in my opinion, I think it's a little unfair. For those who had a lawyer, lawyers could navigate it. But if someone was without a lawyer trying to figure out how to file a lawsuit during lockdown and fear and everything else, I think would have been really challenging. And even for some lawyers that don't litigate much, you know, my guess is that some people lost their rights and didn't know it. And, you know, it was a scary time when it was all starting for a lot of people. And so there's been no jury trials in the state since this all started. Jury trials, not even not even criminal, which have a constitutional right, have restarted. They're going to start testing those soon. And for civil litigants, the lawyers that do what we do and our clients, we don't know if there will be a single jury trial anywhere in this state, federal court, any of the county courts, anywhere until next year and perhaps into next year. So I could bore you with what the courts are trying to do. I was lucky enough to be on a call with our presiding civil judge here in Maricopa County in Phoenix, which is the biggest county, Maricopa County. But they're trying very hard to figure it out, but it's very difficult because, you can't get jurors sick. Jurors are afraid to show up. And at the same time, you have people sitting in jail accused of a crime they may not have committed, and they don't have a right to get to trial right now. So it's challenging.
Well, what about, and yet the statute of limitations is still running?
Still running. So people are losing their rights and they don't know it. The world's starting to become, people are starting to get out a little bit more, but, think about those couple months when, a higher number of people weren't even getting in their car to go grab a bite to eat, and imagining their deadlines are running and they didn't know it. And there were ways to file, but is that a time people were as likely to hire a lawyer? Probably not. Were lawyers working the same way when them and their staffs were at home? Probably not. And yet the deadline that mattered most was continuing to run like normal.
Well, if the courts are closed, how do they file?
So the electronic filing, all but one county in the state allows cases to be filed, started electronically. And the one that doesn't, which happens to be the biggest one in Phoenix, that takes up most of the metro area, which is Maricopa County, they were still boxes, and the clerk was still at the desk. So it could be done, and it was done. But, for someone who's never filed electronically, just saying to them, go file your complaint online. So the courts never officially closed. It's just the trials that ended. The judges have largely had gone home. Their staffs had gone home. There was a lot of issues related to, if a party wants to intentionally delay, they've been given the right opportunity now, because it's very easy to make an argument that, well, my client is, at home and doesn't have technology to do what we're doing now, which, to do video conferencing. So it's created some real challenges. I understand there's bigger challenges outside of the law, but within the law, it's really a difficult time to try to press for justice for whatever side of the situation. A criminal defendant, a civil plaintiff wants to see justice happen quickly.
I'm just curious, what do they do for discovery? Like interrogatories, are those held up too?
For a temporary window, those were held up, but now that's back to normal.
There's an extension of the deadline to file income taxes this year. You would think that the court system would recognize what you're just describing as certainly not in favor of any consumer at all. And I don't understand why they wouldn't honor.
Basically, everything that they've done is against the person
Nothing
who
was
has
working
the
the way it
claim.
used to be.
Basically, who's done? The court system?
Like they've allowed delays on the part of the defense, so that the defense is basically using the excuse that they can't do anything. So all of our clients, like most of the depositions and anything that they can, they've been asking the judge to delay all the deadlines, but all of the statute stuff and everything like that, they haven't delayed at all. So it's basically where, for us, when somebody's hurt, it's basically everything's very much against our clients' claims now. So they're just going to have to be even more patient. So like they've said, we can't do depositions in person. And so we don't want to take the deposition until it's in person. And so we can't take that for like 3 or 4 or 5 months, or we can't have a mediation. Like they've just really been using this so that it's prolonging everything. And then the courts, though, the statutes are still running. So if you're injured, like for our clients, then you need to make sure you still know everything about your statute and find an attorney. But all of our cases that are in litigation, they're the defense is using, and the insurance companies who, you know, they don't want to pay out money necessarily right now, you know. So they're basically using it, just the attorneys on the defense side, I feel like anyways, are using it just to prolong everything as much as they can. Motion after motion after motion.
Can't you file litigation, get your state representatives to file litigation to correct the courts?
Well, according to our son, we should be changing the world right now. So,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Which son, no? You have one son, 9 years ago. Your oldest child was what, 14, 13?
14.
Yeah.
14. He's now, in fact, he was on our show. That's Zev. And he finished up his first year of law school. He's going into his second at Emory. But I think the son that wants to change everything is in his first year of college. So he's at that age. But he doesn't, does he want to change everything, or does he want you to change everything?
I think he wants us to pave the way for him. But I'm sure he'll do great things all on his own. But the issue is that is all a really big issue. But, you know, in terms of jury trials and deadlines and all this other stuff, like ultimately, you know, as lawyers, we don't have really any control over that. We have been going to the judges and saying, you know, they can take these by Zoom, or, you know, they don't have to be in person. Like, we want to move our case along. But, you know, I think it just depends. A lot of the judges, they don't know what to do either. So it's just kind of easier for them to just postpone everything. But as far as the statutes, they didn't go that way.
But there's another issue of when you have to notarize documents. I think in Massachusetts, they passed a law that you can notarize without being there. I mean, that's a little, I don't know if it, like when you do wills and trusts,
Yeah.
you need witnesses and this and that. I don't think it affects that, but it could affect the pleadings. Do you have anything like that?
They passed a law in Arizona. It was already going to get passed, but they moved it up so that you could do that, notarize through like electronic. However, they need a company who will support sending the documents and, you know, under the law to make sure that it's going through the process. And as of right now, we have people who are allowed to do that, but there is no service in Arizona that they have like caught up to. So a lot of the companies that are supposed to be, you know, supporting the electronic part of it, they haven't yet caught up to all the different states. So some of the states do have the support, but Arizona, they, you know, initially weren't expecting it to go through until like late July or July sometime. And the governor did push it through earlier, but again, the companies that need to support it, they weren't able to support it. So yeah, it was great that we had people on staff who could do, you know, notarize through this new electronic, but if you don't have a system or company that can support it, then it doesn't really matter. So hopefully that's getting ironed out in the next couple of weeks. But for right now, our clients still have to get everything done, you know, and we've encouraged them to go to the bank or, you know, come to our office. But
how's your staff? Do they work from home? All of them, or some of them, or you're in phase 2 or something, or coming back, or what are they? What kind of phase? What do you do with your work? Help. Interesting.
So almost all of our staff went home, and we don't care what phase we're in, because our view of this is that we have two things that are going to happen before the team comes back together. The first is that we're going to make sure that nobody gets sick working as part of our team or working for our team. And the second, which is even higher threshold, is that nobody comes back without feeling as though we cared enough about their health, which means we have to get to the point as we bring people back, not just that we think it's safe, or maybe even that it is safe, but that we think it's safe, it is safe, and everyone on the team knows that they have the flexibility to make sure they're comfortable coming back. And so we don't know when we're coming back, but we put a lot of work. We've always adopted technology in a huge way. And so that helped us when this all happened. We weren't prepared to have 90% of our team go home, but we were further along just because of some of the things we had done unintentionally, just lucky. And so now we've been able to work from home with really just a handful of people in the office amongst a huge space meant for far more people. And so I don't know when we're coming back. We're maybe my lovely, brilliant wife will have some ideas as to a time
I bet you
frame.
operate, though, here I am interrupting. I bet you operate, though, as if you were there, because I've been there enough times over the years, except for the past few months, that these people have events. I don't think they do that as much around here, but you can tell where they invite all their clients and their staff, and everybody loves them. You have a wonderful reputation. Weren't you chosen some lawyer of the year, or didn't Mark get some award, which really was yours? Alexis? I'm
He
just
gets a
kidding.
lot of
I'm
awards.
just kidding. Yeah. Didn't you get
We
best
were,
style attorney or something?
Yeah, he always gets lots of awards. We were recently named best place to work. I think we were like 32, I think, in the United States or something.
That's
Was it?
fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, that
32
was really exciting.
I think
But we've been doing we've still been doing like Zoom events. We've had like bingo nights with our staff and scavenger
Really?
hunts and name that tune and two truths and a lie for staff, where we're giving out prizes and things
Oh, that
where
sounds
it's
like a good place, huh? Camille, we ought to
Yeah.
go work there.
Yeah.
you know, about like Star Wars or different things like that. And so it's been really fun. We've been doing some during lunchtime and then some like on an evening for the whole family to do. And so that's been a lot of fun, and being able to keep the team together. And we also have Zoom calls in the morning for the whole staff to kind of give them an update on, you know, just what's going on. So in some ways, for us, like, we've learned that there are certain things that we should be doing more of, that we could have been doing more of with the technology that we have for a big group of staff. But we are lucky enough that we did have some staff already working remote some of the days per week. And we were able to really, you know, our line of work is one where, you know, if you know, have a computer and you're all set up and manage, you know, all of that stuff, that we're able to, you know, continue with what we do. But it's more all the other places that, you know, is really hard, I think.
And in Arizona is one of the states where the cases are increasing, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the, I think 21 now, but I think we're one of the 3 states increasing at the fastest rate. So it's you know, Massachusetts took a huge, horrible hit at the outset. And some states, of course, like ours, seem to kind of skate by, relatively speaking, at that time, and not quite as much now.
Maybe they're just
Massachusetts was the 3rd and then the 4th in the country.
Yeah, now they're getting much better. But if you're ever in Phoenix, you should visit their office, because you walk in, it's like a movie set, and there's all kinds of ice creams, different styles, and then there's a room, and they got pistachio nuts, and I don't know if they have Tootsie Rolls.
I was just going to ask, don't you have Tootsie Rolls for your mother, Alexis?
Sure. We'll have to see. I know we have a lot of different chocolate bars and snacks, like Goldfish and Wheat Thins and granola bars.
If you have Tootsie Rolls, you better watch out, because I've known your mom at times to steal Tootsie Rolls out of places.
I know she likes the Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Pops. I'm in a new one now. I think your kids sent me on to Fudgicles. The 40.
Oh yeah, we have like a whole shelf of ice cream right now.
Oh yeah, they have all this ice cream. So who's eating it?
Probably I'm the only one who's eating it all. Um, I, well, some of the ones are really little. They're like 70 calories, so they're not too bad. They're like minis type of thing.
Well, you know what? Anything that's a mini, I end up eating more of it than if I had a biggie. I end up eating so many of them, I might as well have 2 biggies.
True.
I want to wind up with people. These two over the past 9 years have been very, very successful. They went from number whatever it was to number 1, and it's because of hard work. But now they give back too, and we always give back. Both our families have given and give back, and we created these 2 beautiful people who are now teaching their kids all that. Just give them an idea of some of the things you've done over the past 2 weeks, like the restaurants. Your restaurants are the biggest non-survivors without it. But tell them what you did.
So we came up with the HEART campaign, which means helping excellent Arizona restaurants together. And here was the fun of the HEART campaign. We literally got over 2,000 nominations. And what we did is we said, nominate your favorite restaurant, because we're going to help some small restaurants survive. Because at the time when this all started, even now, there's restaurants closing. They are struggling so much. And so what we did is we said, nominate your favorite restaurant. And then we would choose a restaurant that had been nominated, often by many people. And we would pick a day. And we'd say, for this day, we are going to pay 50% of every single order that comes in. So all of a sudden, the restaurant and their workers get a huge infusion of cash, so the restaurants can pay their bills and their workers and stay open. People in the community get to help support a restaurant near them. And in the case of many people who've lost their job, maybe get takeout for the first time since all this craziness started. And we get the, excitement, satisfaction, fun of being involved. And when we did it, our thought was, maybe we can give some of these restaurants their best day since the coronavirus hit. And in many cases, to our surprise, not only was it their best day since the virus hit, we had many restaurants, have their biggest day in the history of their restaurant. We did one a week ago that has been open for 16 years. And our HEART campaign gave them the single biggest day. They literally sold out of food. They had nothing else to sell. They had to close early. And so it's been it's been great. It's been great. It's been so rewarding. It's been so nice for people in the community to say that, I went to more than one, but one we were at together, and a woman came up and she said she is at home with someone who for health reasons can't leave. This was her first time leaving the house. Everything had been delivered, leaving the house in 5 weeks, because this was their favorite restaurant and they were so excited to be able to get it. And it's great to be able to give back to all the restaurants who need it.
People ask Camille and I why we do this, like we do our police book for nothing, and then we do this for nothing. And the simple answer was because we can. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy it. There is a pleasure in giving. But you also do for the teachers, which is important, the schools and everything. Tell them what you do for the teachers. Laura Alexis, also known to me as Whopper.
So we do a teacher monthly each month where we surprise a teacher and we give them $250 or $500 depending on the school and class size and stuff like that. And then we give them a pizza party, and we were surprising them and stuff like that, but obviously that's not going on anymore. But we've been doing that for a long time. And we also have a college scholarship that we've done that we just gave out variety of different scholarships for college. So that was fun too. Got a lot of applications for that. But Mark's family's a bunch of teachers. So That's been nice.
Very
And
nice.
he always likes to go in and surprise the kids and the students, and he's really good at making it where they get so excited and, you know,
He's a
letting
performer anyway.
feel the love.
He's a
Yeah.
performer. That's why he's such a good jury trial advocate. But
Oh,
but I
yeah.
want to end on this. On just you've got 8 kids. Everybody's wondering about the 8 kids. There's one just graduated. Southern California. I'm telling you, with an engineering degree, a girl. She was on the show, Kaylee Breyer. Then you got Zev. Well, you tell them who you got. I'll tell them we got to get the other kids on the show. Zev's a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. Well, Zev just finished his first year of law school. He's in Atlanta. Kaylee actually is in Arizona right now, but she's having a summer camp for middle school girls, and she's really excited about her Kaylee's Queens. And
Yes,
she
great.
did graduate. We got confirmation of her engineering degree from USC. So that's exciting. I just got her a nice frame for when we get her diploma to put it in there.
Nice.
Tate's selling pest control, and he's going into his second year of U of A. He's in Minnesota.
Oh, he's in Minnesota. Imagine that.
Yeah, he's in Minnesota. Ariella
Right.
just did her, she got one state and got selected for nationals, and they did a cut from like 260 down to 60 people, and she made it down to the 60. So she did really good in her national speech tournament.
See, they're all hard workers, like
Yeah.
their grandparents on the
Yeah.
mother's side. Well, the
Yeah.
Gifted generation.
And her mother's side.
Breyer's side too. Wonderful
Yeah.
people. You got-
True. Talia got her eyelashes and nails done yesterday, so she was
But
very
she's
excited
very
about
smart,
that.
too. She's a smart, hard
She
worker.
is. She's working on her SATs and totally coming at us with all these long words, telling us what they are. She told me a word about a word that meant complaining the other day, and she called me it. And I said, I'm not a complainer. What are you talking about? She goes, yeah, you are. You're always complaining about everything I don't do. I said, that doesn't count. So that's Talia. Pierce just turned 15 yesterday.
Yeah.
And his birthday gift was that he got to play Xbox all day and have
Oh, yeah,
food
he said
delivered to
that.
him. Yeah.
But he did interrupt it to say hi to us.
Oh,
Oh,
that's-
he did. That's
Yeah,
funny.
he did. We got him twice.
That's
and then,
funny.
And then comes Karina, who's just
Karina is doing dance camp now. They are having dance at her school, and she also has been doing Kaylee's Queens, so she's excited about that.
very
And I just got her a new bed, so she's excited about that too. And
And then
and
our
last little baby, thank goodness for him. He's so
Baby.
cute. He's been liking the video games too, but I think he's spending too much time on them. So Mark's been taking them swimming. The kids swimming every day. Kate's been going with Karina and sometimes the older kids too. I think, what number are you on? Like 94 or something?
Yesterday
days?
was the 95th straight day that we swam for at least an hour together.
Wow.
boy.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And on
The
that,
backyard.
on that we have
Oh.
to close. See, it went fast as it did years ago.
It did. Thank you
What's
for
that?
sharing
Yeah,
it
thanks
with
for
us.
inviting us.
We can't wait another 9 years.
No, we can't. Maybe we'll get to see
Wow.
each other sometime.
Yes,
Again.
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
Well, thank you. You really added a lot. Our viewers see what's going on in the rest of the world, that maybe it's not that bad in Massachusetts.
That's true. And I hope you enjoy your special day today.
Yes,
Oh, thank
that's
you.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go for it,
All
Camille.
right.
Camille's the
Okay.
rounder-upper.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It's lovely to see you again. And to our viewers, as you know, this is our continuing series on the coronavirus and the way it affects all aspects of our world, whether it be law or finance or anything else. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for other topics related to the coronavirus, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you because remember, this is your show, The Law, Your Money.
Your money, and you, and you. God bless them all.